Hey guys, welcome to the round 9 preview as the Blues are set to take on the Saints Friday night at the MCG. As you can see, I'm here at the MCG. Found a way to sneak in, not really, all above board, but there's a few things happening around. This preview is going to be obviously different because I'm not in the studio doing it, so I'll have a bit to say about the game, and then later in this video you'll hear me have a conversation with Jake from Saints TV about the St Kilda side of the story, which is always nice to get an opposing fan channel on board and see what they have to say about their own club and also ours. Wow, Carlton. I don't know, there's a different edge about me this week. My concerns about the attitude of the team really come to the surface this week. Looked so good, so focused, so intense against the Geelong Footy Club here at the MCG, only for 6 days later to go to Adelaide and put in a performance which really was dreadful. Concentration levels were not there, intensity was not there, but I think one of the most disappointing parts of round 8 was the resistance when things didn't go our way, our inability to wrestle back the momentum. And so for that reason, coming into round 9 against the Saints, I just feel this sense of trepidation. You know, there's a frustration about the team and about the club and the expectations not being met. There's also this understanding that it's such an important game. The consequences of losing in round 9 far outweigh the positive sentiment, in my view, of winning in round 9. You know, a win just kind of keeps us in the mix. A loss, and you're staring down 3 and 6 with an away trip coming against the Swans, and it just bodes for a real discomfort, and that's what I feel. So overall frustrated about where the Blues are at after a poor start followed by a nice little month or patch of form, and you know, maybe I just need to break the season down, because I think if I look too far ahead I find myself getting way too frustrated. So there's that for Carlton. Filming this on Tuesday before the injury report, so the hope is that Jack Silvani will be recovered and available. I don't think he's going to be recovered. I think if he is to play this week, he'll be playing sore. So I'd hazard a guess that he won't play this Friday night, which would be tough because he's really cemented himself in that back line, and he's really got a level of trust, subconscious trust with the other defenders. But I mean, we can talk about who's going to be available and who's not. This is really more about the application on Friday night for, you know, however long it's going to take. It just is. It's about the mentality. It's about the how, not the who. And so I draw confidence from the idea that the Blues would be wanting to respond from last week, and hopefully a sense of pride within the group. But I have pessimism because I know that the Saints have the blueprint, and they have had the blueprint for quite some time, particularly with Ross Lyon. So they asked the question for long enough of Carlton, and teams that have done that this year have seen that Carlton fold. And so that's where the fear comes in. It is an important matchup for both clubs. It is also, for the Saints, this is Spud's game, so raising awareness for men's mental health and speaking up. And you're going to hear Jake and I speak about it shortly in this video. But you know, there is a good cause happening this week, which is always a privilege to be a part of. I'll be riding on Thursday night at 11 p.m. for 1 hour on a tandem bike with Jake, which is just a dream come true, as you can imagine. So yeah, look, I'm hopeful more than what I am confident. If I'm being honest, I'm a little bit more fearful than what I am optimistic, but you know, it is what it is. Anything can happen. I hope that the boys just use the Adelaide game as a springboard for the next couple of games now, and we'll see what happens. So what about you? How do you feel about this game? Maybe take a listen to Jake and I having a chat now, and then at the end of this video, I would love to just see your thoughts. Where are we at in your mind? What happens this week? How do we overcome what happened last week? And how do we beat the Saints on Friday night at the MCG? I'll speak to you soon. Go Blues.
What's going on?
Welcome, mate. Where's your sunnies?
Huh?
Where's your sunnies?
I'll save them for Saturday morning.
You don't want to wear them now?
Nah.
Not feeling confident?
No need, mate. What have you?
Is this the one that you bookmarked pre-season? Is this the game?
To win?
Yeah. Is this the one that St Kilda supporters look at and you say, we put this in the calendar and there'll be 60 odd thousand maybe Carlton supporters around and you just really want to get this one done?
Nah, Geelong's always the one.
Not
Geelong's
the Carlton
always...
one?
If you don't beat Geelong, then yeah, you want to beat Carlton, but both would be nice.
Jeez, could do both in 1 year.
Could do both in 1 year, 2 years in a row, would be nice.
Well, have we finagled our way into the MCG? Do we want to admit that? We could admit that.
Yeah, thanks to the MCG for letting us enjoy this wonderful site. It's not every day you can come here and just hear the birds chirping.
That's true.
See it this empty, but also as beautiful as it is when it's packed, which is quite nice.
Well, Friday night, the Blues and the Saints will get together and we will have a absolutely, I think it'll be a fierce contest.
I hope it is.
I think this is the perfect situation. Well, yeah, we would. I feel Carlton coming off a 10-goal embarrassing loss. The Saints had their response from the week before, absolutely slaughtered Fremantle. I didn't watch the game, so I guess I would like to hear from you, what is the St Kilda story?
From that game?
Yeah, just where you're at right now, going into this game, the form line.
Yeah, form line, 3 wins in a row looking really good, and then 3 losses in a row. In isolation, some people that don't watch us will be like, well, we're not going very well, but you look at the teams that have beaten us, you look at how they've beaten us, and then the teams we've beaten, Geelong, Fremantle, Port, some pretty good teams on their day. 4-4, I take that after round 8. I think most people probably tipped us to be 2-6, something around that mark, after playing, I think we've played 7 of the top 10.
Yeah.
We've only played one team below us, or 2 teams below us. So our draw's not been kind, but I think we've made the most. I'd absolutely take 4-4.
I remember last year we did the preview and just generally chatting with you throughout the year, there was this defensiveness to the Saints and there was this want from the fan base to open it up a little bit, move the ball a bit quicker, play with a bit more freedom and a bit more confidence. What has happened between last year and this year? Or is it too early to tell the differences?
No, I think we saw the differences even in the last 6-7 weeks last year. I think we've just continued on that front a little bit. Maybe we've been a little bit more aggressive. Maybe that's the way football is going anyway. And we're trying to find that balance between that ultimate attack and that defence. And Ross did really go to school on the defence on the weekend. But at the same time, maybe we wouldn't have seen this 2 years ago. We kicked 94 points. We kicked 40 points in the last quarter. 6 goals, 4 in the last.
Put them to the sword.
We really put them to the sword. We really finished them off, and that's something we're starting to find in our wins. Is we're starting to put teams to bed. We're not leaving the door ajar a little bit. Like Richmond, we put them to bed. Port, they came back, but we really did do the work in the first quarter and seal the game. And then to do what we did to Fremantle was, that reminded me of 2009 Ross. That's as peak Ross line performance as I've seen. It was 4 quarters of brutal football. I know you didn't watch it, but it was genuinely from start to finish, all St Kilda. And it was just awesome to watch.
Well, it's interesting that it came the week after or throughout when Ross seemed to be old Ross.
Well,
so to hear you say that.
Who would have thought an experienced coach knew what he was doing?
True. Hugo Garcia got the Rising Star nomination this week after being subbed.
Couldn't have scripted it better, really.
Yeah.
That response to him to kick that goal at the end, and the midfield to win clearance by 28. Ground ball gets differential was on a record plus 50. That's just, you want the ball, you get the ball, and then the key thing is we got it on the outside, and we spread the ground and made them look slow. Yeah.
So, I think Ross has the answers for Carlton.
Yeah.
He's always had the game plan for Carlton, and it's not a secret. Ask the question enough times about the Blues and you're likely to see them fold. There have been times where we've played where the Saints have done that and we've held on and broken them. But the reality is I think the Saints go into this one more confident than most.
I'm definitely, at least from my side, I was more nervous last year going into it. Even though you had players missing, I just felt like the occasion
Yeah.
You needed to win. It just felt set up for you to have a big day. And that's why, maybe that's why I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable. Like a lot of people are like, oh, you don't play at the G much. It's going to be a big Carlton crowd. I'm like, it was at Marvel. It was the same.
Yeah.
And we handled the heat. So we played Collingwood here and belted them same time last year for Spud's game.
True.
And that doesn't get much more hostile than that, really, playing a Collingwood crowd at the MCG and beating them off the back of their flag. I know they were out of form, but yeah, I don't think this should be too much of a shock when we run out to
How
that.
do the Saints play at the G compared to Marvel?
Yeah, great. I love it. I wish we played more games. That's why we want to play more games. Not just because it's the G and you just want to have those big moments and those big games in front of big crowds, but we do play this, like it's a wide ground. We're notably very good on our wings. We love to run. We love to spread the ground. I think if it was at Marvel, I'd be more stressed because I think that's more congested, suits Carlton's contested game. Whereas here we can really spread the ground and make you work for, especially in defence, spread the defence.
Right. Changes for the Saints? Will there be many? Is anyone coming back from injury?
Mason Wood was out with concussion, so you'd imagine he would be back, and he's a major, like, we talk about wings, he's a great wingman, but he can go forward, kick goals, and he can go back and support the defence. And then the other one might be Filippo. So it could be Wood Filippo, who comes out, you'd be very stiff. Toby Travalia was a sub, and we didn't use the sub, so I'd imagine he might come out and play VFL. VFL had the bye, so he didn't get any minutes last weekend. So that would be it. It's the first week in a while where, no one's going to come out. It's really just what Ross thinks is best.
Stable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, apart from Wood, who is clearly in your best team.
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah, he's been in good form, and a concussion, that's the only reason that kept him out last week.
What's your perception of the Blues?
In general, specifically this year? No.
Well,
this year.
Yeah.
My perception is I don't see where this improvement from Voss. I don't see where this game plan is adapting to the modern day style of football that is clearly proven and successful. And I think still, even if you win, it's off the back of your A graders. It's not off the back of the collective. It's very much Curnow, Cripps, Mackay, Silvani, Jacob Wiedering and Sam Walsh. And if they're not firing, or at least you keep them at just subpar, the rest of the troops don't quite lift and get the job done. That's my absolute fair. I know this is on Blue or Broad, so I'm going to get hate in the comments.
No, you won't. You'd be surprised how many people actually think the exact same.
And I think
the same too.
And to me, Carlton is list-wise, the polar opposite of us, where Carlton fans will say, oh, Saints don't have any A graders, so we should really Curnow. And again, their comments just like they prove my point.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, but you don't have Curnow and Mackay. It's like, yeah, but
we have a system.
We've got a system. We've got 22, 23 blokes that are going to run out and do exactly what Ross tells them.
Yeah.
I don't know if Voss has quite that structure. He very much is, get it to Curnow.
It is really, first of all, I think you're right.
Yeah.
And I think most Carlton supporters, if they were honest, would feel the exact same way. If our stars aren't shining, then we've actually gotten to the point where we're questioning whether they are stars. That's kind of
that's another
where we're
question.
at the moment, because they're not performing. I mean, stars are consistent. Carlton are inconsistent. The big concern for me with the Blues is the attitude problem. So I don't know if the guys are going to be focused enough this week for the game in their preparation. And let's just say they are. Let's just say they do their preparation perfectly. They get to the game. Then we get to this situation in-game where teams will challenge Carlton, and the Saints will, because they just know exactly how to cut off the exit points at stoppage and things of that nature. They have I think they've got the right matchups for the stars. So in-game, when we're challenged, do the group have the audacity to overcome the challenge? And that's been the real question mark this year, which is wild. This is year 4 of Voss ball. This is year 4 of the system. In my view, it should be ingrained in the subconscious what to do, when to do it, how to do it. Yeah, there's been a few players that have had interrupted pre-seasons and things of that nature. But I mean, again, it just comes back to we are reliant on our top end to perform at a high level. We pay them at a high level, and we expect them and need them to perform at a high level in order to be good. And I think that's what puts us in this group. I mean, at the start of the season, I thought we were ready to push for the top 4 again, because that's where we were last year until it all fell apart in the final third. And now in round 9, I'm saying, geez, we're in this group of teams with the Saints who are in this bracket of could finish as high as 6th, 7th, could finish as low as 13th, 12th, 13th. And so I'm unsure. Now, the optimist in me says that's exactly where Carlton need to be going into a game, because every time we're confident, yeah, we should get this job done, it seems like we lose. So, I don't know, Saints have their tails up.
Yeah, I mean, we have our tails up, but at the same
rightly
time,
so.
we are inconsistent. We know where. But what I guess brings a little bit of confidence to me is, we've lost to. It's the teams that we've lost to. Like, they've all been. Every team we've lost to is in the top 8. Giants, and that was away. Adelaide away, you found out it's not an easy task.
We found out.
It was almost identical to the way they beat us. Almost identical. And then we've beaten Geelong really well, which you did. And we hammered Fremantle, who everyone thinks has got an amazing list. So, I don't know, like, what else? There's not much else we could really have done in the first 8 weeks. We've seen our worst, we've seen our best. Now we're starting to see, we're starting to play the teams that are around us, and that's the teams that we have comfortably beaten. Will we do that on Friday? I don't know. I don't particularly care. I just want to get the win,
I can't cop you winning. I can't cop it.
Why?
Can't cop the Sunnies on Tuesday night.
Shit. How many times have I ever messaged you after? You messaged me
fair.
after last year. I didn't even message you.
No, that's fair.
Guess what? You messaged me after the Fremantle Port game. I knew you were going to wait for the result.
What did I say?
You just said Owen. And I'm like, look, the audacity on this bloke. He was shitting his pants for 2 hours because his team nearly choked.
Yeah.
And then you gave me the Owen after that.
It's not what
siren.
you say. It's what you don't say. It's just...
Oh, so you want me to say something? It's
no,
in your own head now.
No, it's not what you say. It's Tuesday night, we'll get to footy abroad, and you'll have the sunnies on, and you'll have the smirk.
Nah.
No, as in next week, if the Saints win. It's just like...
Did I do it last week? Or did I do it last year when we beat you?
I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know. Because you made finals, so I could only celebrate so much. If you had a missed finals, I would have gone all in. I had the memes ready. And I'm like,
see,
park
for me,
those.
it's just the fact that we're here. Carlton are in this position where the supporters want more from what the club's giving us. And we find ourselves in 50-50 contest with the Saints.
Yeah,
no
but
disrespect.
That's the thing that thing that Carlton fans need to get a grip on.
Yeah, we
You're
suck.
not here and we're not here. It's very much it's you're dancing with the devil a little bit.
This is what I hate. This is what
But that's part of the problem. Get that out of your heads. You're in that middle tier right now. You are not in that top tier. You've never been in that top tier.
So I accept that that's where we are.
Yeah.
But I don't accept as a Carlton supporter that that's where we should be.
No.
Not because we are now grouped with the St Kilda Football Club. It's just like I want more from Carlton, and it's kind of embarrassing that we've waited until this point in this group's development to still be mediocre. So the frustration doesn't really come from the fact that anything else other than this is where Carlton finds itself as a club, as a team, just the mentality, it just frustrates me. So I feel like a win doesn't necessarily mean that we're back in any way, shape or form.
You beat Geelong, and you said it yourself a couple of weeks ago. You're like, we need to beat Adelaide, Saints, and then I think Sydney or something.
Yeah, for me to be confident that we're rolling.
That's a stretch of good wins, not
exactly
one win against Geelong, who then beat Collingwood. And
exactly. Yeah. A win against the Saints for Carlton, in my view, doesn't fix anything. It's just what's expected, so to speak. But a loss against the Saints, oh my God, I just smell venom from the reception, from the fan base, from the and rightly so. It's
it'd be 3-6 at that point.
Would be 3-6.
Yeah.
So the fear of the loss outweighs the positives of a win. I'd be positive if we won, but I won't. I mean, it would just be like, okay, should get the job done. We are favoured to win the game. And in my warped view, maybe I just thought we would be ahead of St Kilda at this point of our existence.
Well,
know?
I mean, when you look at the 2 draws the teams have been dealt, absolutely.
Yeah, like you guys are still
We still haven't played
investing
North.
into your list.
Yeah, and we haven't played North, we haven't played West Coast.
Yeah.
Like I said, we've played 7 of the top 10.
Yeah.
So yeah, it should be interesting. It should be a ripper game. And obviously, yeah, Spud's game. So donate,
Yes.
get behind an amazing cause that the club and Carlton are joining forces to promote. And we'll be here again Thursday night riding.
So Jake and I are riding a bike together on one bike around the MCG for 1 hour.
Mate, I haven't ridden a bike since I was like 4, so we're going to be crashing into some poles, I can tell you that much.
11 p.m. shift.
Yeah,
We're going to be riding the bike.
Yeah, so get down if you're around. If you're walking around Richmond at 11 p.m. on a Thursday night,
You'll see us.
you'll see us.
Final predictions.
Saints by 27.
I thought it was Saints by 1 in a heartbreak.
Huh?
I thought it was St Kilda by 1. That's what I thought.
I mean, we kind of did that last year, didn't we? Higgins, if you remember.
Yeah, how could I forget?
What were we thinking in that exact moment?
I was thinking, I cannot believe Jack Higgins is now in the group of
Yeah,
Jamie
he's in
Elliott.
Jamie Elliott.
I still can't believe it.
You know what? He's in better form now. We didn't even talk
He
about
is.
matchups, but he's won on the MCG. He loves that space.
Is he up there in the Coleman?
Yeah. Oh, he only kicked 1 on the weekend. We kicked 14. He kicked 1, but he's on 21 goals, so he's 3rd, I think.
Well, there's no Membry this week.
No, but there's Cooper Sharman. He's almost Membry-esque at the moment. He's clunking them.
I want to
kicking
say
snags.
who, but the last time I said who was Ned Long, and
Yeah, you've let
you know, any time I'm confident in any way, shape, or form,
Yeah.
it bites me. So
Same. I mean, that is the case.
makes me sick.
Look, I'm not, for the Carlton fans, maybe you think I'm confident. I am absolutely not. How can you be confident? We're 4-4. We've belted 4 teams. We've also been belted 4 times. So you don't know what you're going to get. But I'm comfortable with where we're at.
Okay.
You know, I think maybe you're the one.
I'm more on edge.
Question marks.
For sure. This could be like
you're like,
the
we
end
need to
of the
deliver,
season.
or geez, we've got a long way to go. Whereas I'm like, we've got a long way to go, but at the same time, if we're delivering, it's a little bit of a bonus, you know.
Well, good luck. No injuries.
No injuries. Big crowd as well. Get to the game. I know Carlton fans will, but Saints fans, if you're watching on Blue or Broad somehow, get to the game.
Tom
It
DeConing
should
will
be
play
nice.
well, and then he'll sign his extension the day after on Saturday morning.
Clip that, because you might be disappointed.
Good luck.
You too.